I see that.
I need to get the Beast lager this week.
Okay, we're doing the broadcast now. Hello, folks. We had a little computer issue. This thing could crash at any moment, but hopefully they'll wait on that. There was a problem coming. We're supposed to start 4 minutes ago. Tonight we're going to re-examine Budweiser Black Crown, and John didn't want to get the 6-packs. He's not joining us, but he was saying he thought it was a good idea because he didn't think this beer is going to be around much longer, and I have a feeling it will not be.
It's not, because this was a hard find for me to get this.
I went to one store in Laplace here that has it, and it was getting close on the date. But I checked with the sales rep yesterday and the bulk merchandiser, and they did their calculation, and it's 5 days left past tonight that it'll be within their freshness range. It's not sold in any other town, any other store here now. It's only sold in 6-packs, and there's a few select stores in the city. If you in New Orleans, if you remember 4 years ago when they launched it, it was everywhere in all different types of configurations, cans, bottles.
18-ounce bottles, 22-ounce bottles, I've seen them.
So you know it's dying. So we'll look at it one more time. I think, in my original opinion, they did a good job with it, but everything does not catch on, right? So it was the winner of the Project 12 series. Remember the Project 12?
Yeah.
I remember. I wasn't old enough to drink at the time, but yeah, I remember it.
So we better get started before this computer goes completely on me. All right. Anybody's never had this before?
I've not had it. I've looked all in my area. We have Bud Light, Bud Ice, and Bud Light Bud Light Premium, something like that.
Okay, well, that's okay.
My area.
That's okay. So you've never had it. All right. So you're just going to observe. You're gonna have observer status tonight.
Okay.
Because he doesn't have the beer. Okay. So Jean, you have it. Nate, you have it. The Brewed dude has it. Tanya, I think she's got it, but she looks frozen.
Hey, I'm observer status as well.
Oh wow.
I also don't have it on me.
There's going to be some kind of examination here. Okay. Well, we got 3 people examine it. The Brewed dude, you've had it, eh?
Yes, I have. Many times.
Oh, okay. It's been out. It's been on the market 4 years, and this will probably be the last year you'll ever see it. It's a golden lager. It's 6% alcohol. If anybody brought up tap into your beer, you can read what they say about it. I'm not going to open any tabs. I'm trying to keep this thing alive for at least 30 minutes before it goes.
I have the PDF open if you want me to read a little bit about it, the profile about it.
All right.
So it's a blend of 2-roll caramel malt and 4 types of domestic hops.
Ooh.
Okay, and then it's finished on a bed of beechwood chips for a smooth, balanced taste.
Interesting.
It's definitely a little malty. I would say the last time I had this, and then when I did a review of it.
Some of the Project 12 beers I didn't care for, but they were okay. It was just, remember, all 12 brewers submitted a recipe, and then they narrowed it down to, what was it, 4 out of 12? And then they picked the best of the 4, I think, which they thought was this.
Yeah, I think they revealed it. What was it, Super Bowl?
Yeah, Super Bowl 47 that year,
Yep.
San Francisco and Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. So I have a can in my collection, a 24-ounce can in my collection, and I have these bottles. They told me that Platinum is doing very poorly now. Well, remember, Platinum was a hot item. It was one of the top 20 best-selling beers.
That's been a big disappointment.
But they said now Platinum has gone stale, and that's probably not going to make it. I'll tell you what, Sean. We got Gary out in California, right, Gary? No, not California.
Virginia.
Excuse me.
When I worked at Walmart, there was a guy. He'd always come in. He'd buy a 6-pack of the Bud Light Platinum, and sometimes he'd come in and buy an 18-pack. It sold enough in my area, just enough to be kept on the shelf, but it's not really a huge seller. Like Bud Light in my area is king.
Okay, well they cut
configurations.
They cut Black Crown out of Walmart here, And there's only one reason they cut it, and it wasn't because it was selling. Okay. So let's see. We got myself from Louisiana. We've got Tanya and Gary watching. Tanya in California, Gary in Virginia watching. We got Jean from Alabama. We got Nate from Massachusetts. You're watching also, right? Okay. And then we've got the Brew Dude for California. So let's go west to east. I feel so jubilant tonight. I just have this feeling of wanting to, for whatever reason, just for no particular reason, the celebratory feeling in my mind tonight. But so the Brew Dude is going to lead off.
Gee, I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a happy-go-lucky person, and I just riding a train. Okay.
Well, let's start off with the color of the beer. I mean, it's I'm getting, based on my lighting, a almost kind of copper, amber, slight little orange when it hits the light a little bit. It's very clear, definitely filtered out. I have little bubbles coming down from the bottom to the top, but at nice amber color, nice amber copper orange color. That's for sure.
It does look very attractive in the glass. That is a good looking beer. I won't lie.
I see you have a tasting glass as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and then we'll go around the horn, and we'll get back to you. We'll just, Jean, you seeing the same thing on the appearance?
Yeah, pretty much. As everything what the Brew Dude just said, very amber-like color to this. Mine didn't have any head like you had just now, Jay. So kind of went away pretty quickly when I poured it in my glass. But it definitely has all those things that the Brew Dude just mentioned. Amber color, very nice. So
Yeah, and the back side of the label is where you have your born on date.
yeah, I see it now. Yeah, I saw it.
I was talking to the bulk merchandiser. Actually, what was it? I talked to him today, but I was talking to him yesterday. Oh wait, I gotta kill it. We're gonna mute you right now because you're echo and they can hear you and they can hear it. All right, gotta turn that volume down. They're picking you up in Moscow right now. Okay.
Vladimir.
I would pray for an internet crash if I got to hear. All right, William. Let's see. Who is the guy in North Carolina? William Kepley. I forgot to invite. I got so many new people. I can't keep my mind together. So let's see if I can get. Oh, here we go. I'm glad he uses an actual name. A lot of people use these internet monikers, and they'll be like, "Don't you remember me? I'm Kagagu on Google Plus. I'm Mimi Ma on Twitter. I'm Uncle Johnny on Facebook. I'm Remy Ga on Google Plus." I was like, "No, I can't remember that. Okay, really, I can't. Whoever's ringing, stop it." All right. So William Kepley, I'm sorry I'm late with you. I apologize. But my mind was swimming like a fish in a pond when my internet trouble started. Okay, so real fast before we do the aroma. Oh no, you're gonna get muted so bad.
There we go.
Hey, David.
Yes, sir.
Got to turn down that mic. You're gonna have to mute you with that. You're gonna have to mute you like a person who got muted. All right. No, it ain't working. We got to mute him. Okay. Sorry, guys. If your technology ain't doing the trick, you're going to have to flip your bit. All right. We got to get him on. Hey, William, thanks for joining. Yeah, David, you might want to quit the Hangout if you're going to have the echo issue. And if you have the echo issue, it just won't work. You can't be in it. I'm sorry. Here's the old Budweiser Project 12 beer from 2011.
I remember that.
And that's the one that got picked. I kept it because I said this would be like a collectible, All right. So let's go with the aroma. Now, William, you have it, right? You got to unmute yourself, bud. I can see that microphone with the slash through it.
I picked up the beer before I got off work today. I had been home with a few minutes, but I did get a 6-pack at Total Wine Store.
Excellent.
Hey, William, where are you from?
Thomasville, North Carolina, central part of the state, Piedmont Triad.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right. Okay. I have some couple good people I know in North Carolina. So.
Now, William, you getting the same appearance? We're getting that gold, amber appearance.
When I got home, I stuck mine in the freezer for a few minutes so I can grab it right now and pour it. And
Okay. Well, we're going to start on the aroma test, and we'll get back to you. The aroma. What do you?
I'll try to catch up with you. Okay.
What do you think, the Brew Dude?
Are we starting on the west side?
Yeah, Brew Dude. What do you think about the aroma?
All right. Well, I'm definitely getting some sweetness. Jean mentioned earlier that he was getting a little bit of maltiness. I am getting the sweetness, a little bit of, I don't know, call it caramel, but just a little, almost just sweet grain. They use caramel malt. I don't want to use that and just so I can bias my opinion on it, but I'm also smelling some alcohol. That 6%. It's cutting through the actual just beer aroma. So I am getting some alcohol. I'm getting some sweet. I'm not getting a traditional kind of Budweiser, lager smell, but because obviously it's the Black Crown. But sweet. I smell the alcohol. That's kind of straightforward. That's really it.
No, the alcohol. Huh? Okay, that's interesting. Sean, what about?
To me, there's a little. There's a little bit of. It's a little sense of sugar cubes or something like that. Maybe a little honey with this amber, but definitely very malty. Almost like it's there's definitely some of some of the traditional things that Anheuser-Busch makes for Budweiser, but I guess they raise it up just a little bit more. With the alcohol, of course, and everything the brewer just said. It has a little, almost a scent of honey, brown sugar like, but definitely some heavy duty malts in this. So,
all right, and then William, you've had it before or not?
This is the first time I've ever had this beer.
Okay, tell us what you think about Helles Lager. And I would say, Tiny, that it is an amber lager.
Golden amber lager.
A strong amber lager, almost like what you would say a Bock beer, right? A Bock.
And when people see the name Black Crown, they would think that it is, a Bock or whatever, or possibly. But
Yeah, well, let's go back to William. So, William, what do you think about the aroma?
The aroma is a sweetness that you pick up initially, and that's a beautiful golden color, almost bordering with an orange hue to it. But it's a very pleasing appearance for the beer.
Yeah. Now, what are you getting on the aroma? Are you getting some sweetness? I'm getting some
Definite sweetness initially. And I'm sure as it warms a little bit, some of the bouquet of flavor, will probably be more pronounced. But right now, mine had as much vapor as a marijuana joint. I mean, it really was smoking. So this one is ice cold. But I'm sure as it warms a bit, it will develop some extra, aroma and flavor characteristics. But it was a doobie brother when it came out.
I tell you what.
it keeps you running.
2 days ago, I sat in the backyard and I did a video on Joseph's Brow Hellerbach. And I was confused maybe because I thought Helles, but maybe Heller and Helles is two different words. I mean, obviously they are, they're spelled different. I don't know. But I thought it meant a bright Bach. I know a Helles Bach is bright, but this thing is remarkably similar in the aroma to that Joseph's Brow, which is really Gordon Biersch Bach. It has that strong, syrupy, malty Roman meal bread crust aroma. If you remember old brown bread from 1975,
I do remember that. My mother bought that on a regular basis, and it's very wheaty. I've drank a few wheat ales, and I've picked up the Roman meal in the aftertaste on it. I just recognized that immediately, although I haven't eaten a piece of Roman meal bread probably in 30 years, but I picked up on that quite quickly.
Yeah, and and it apparently is still made. I'm picking up, I don't get the alcohol like you said, the Brew Dude, Jose. I don't.
Yeah.
Sean, you picking up any alcohol in it?
Oh yeah, definitely, without question.
I'm not trying to take a different counterpoint. I just don't pick it up. Maybe I don't say anything. I'm just not picking it up now.
Well, guess what? Not to interrupt, but maybe because my beer says August of 2016.
So that's within the freshness date. Why would that matter?
You know, okay. Maybe it's a little, more. I'm
Fresher.
getting a little more alcohol in this because I guess it was from
Now,
3 months ago.
let me interrupt. Okay, but that shouldn't matter. Hey, let me interrupt. The Maybach style. Oh, Maybach. Yeah, you got it, Tanya. I know I recognize that distinctive aroma and flavor. Now, Chris, almond. Chris.
Hello.
Good. No echo. We had some major echo problems earlier, and I think it was David who had joined us for a bit. But
Yeah, it wasn't me.
I think the microphone was jacked up so high that he was having that looping effect, which is just unworkable. Which means you got to get headphones if that's the case. But Chris, have you had this before?
I had this before just yesterday.
And where are you from?
I'm from Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Hey, well, nice meeting you, buddy.
Nice meeting you. Too.
Oh, welcome.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Well, pour it out and let's drink it up. Hey, let's go back to the Brew Dude and then back to William. I want to see what y'all think about the flavor before we run out of all our beer.
I'm getting when I taste it, it almost tastes just a slight different than what it smells like. When I smell it, I get very sweet, a sweet scent. But when you taste it, the sweetness is not what you expect based on the scent. It's pretty slightly toasted when it comes to the actual taste, like toasted malt, toasted grains, and there's a slight bitterness that actually is helping balance it all out. There definitely, when you can definitely taste that there is some kind of toasted grain used here. I'm also tasting that 6% alcohol. I am actually tasting it. I'm getting about like a medium to light, not super light beer. It's not dry to me. For some reason, I'm getting almost like between light and medium. It's not slick, but it's lingering in my mouth, and it's probably with that toasted caramel malt.
Yeah,
it's a nice balanced beer. I think so. If you would ask me, saying, "Hey, why are they getting rid of it?" I think it's pretty damn good.
it'd be a tragedy if they get rid of it because it's one of the best products they make and nobody buys it.
It's amazing. I mean, like I said, it's great. It's a great experience with this.
I think the problem is that the craft beer people won't drink it because it's Anheuser-Busch, and the Anheuser-Busch people won't drink it because it's too strong, and they won't drink. They just will not. Deviate.
It's only 6%. Yeah, man. It's up then with
flavor,
5 and
the flavor. In the flavor.
Right.
The flavor is bold. It's not a. I guess you're not tying it to like it has a Budweiser name, but when you drink a Budweiser, you're like, okay, it's a little bit lighter. You do get those that rice flavor. This has some bold flavors to it, some nice bitterness, a nice balanced toasty and roastedness, and it ends off with a nice 6%, lingering in your mouth. So you're right. The Budweiser drinkers are gonna be like, whoa, wait a minute, this is too much. But I think it's great.
Hey, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I know what I wanted to do though. Chris and Jean and William, I want y'all to talk about the flavor. I know. To me, I'm saying just what the Brew Dude's saying. I know what I want to say. They use a rice as use rice as the adjunct, but I don't think they do a bad job. But it seems like the rice works out all right in this one. It doesn't come up in the flavor at all. I'm getting that breadiness. I'm getting that toasted malt. I'm getting sweetness, but not too much sweetness. I think on the Cyclops scale, it's probably hold on. Oh, I'll say 3 out of 5 sugar cubes. It's probably 2 out of 5 hop cones, maybe 2, probably more like 1.5, maybe 2. So I think it really is. Now John Sharon, he made an interesting statement. You noticed that on Beer Talk, he said he didn't want to buy a 6-pack because then he'd have to drink 4 more of them. But to me, that would be a benefit. I would, but that's his opinion. I would say, oh, I get to drink 4 more of them. But his attitude was he would be stuck drinking 4 more. So I thought it was an interesting counterpoint.
It's a reasonably priced beer, so I don't understand.
Yeah, it was only $6.79 plus tax here. Okay, now Chris.
Not the same what I spent for this one. So
yeah, Chris and Jean and William, I want y'all to discuss the flavor. I know y'all can take turns, and I don't have to referee everything.
Well, I'll go first. I'm getting the same toasty notes that Jose was getting. Although I'm not getting the sweetness maybe that I'm not getting the 3 out of 5 sugar cubes. I might be getting 2 out of 5. It tastes a little bit drier to me. I am getting the bitterness at the end, and the booze the booziness that Jose was mentioning. I just don't get that myself, but
No.
maybe that's because I started off with an Ice House Edge.
Oh my goodness, you got prepped.
Yeah, maybe I led my palate in a little bit heavy, but
I would say so.
This one doesn't. I'm not getting the booziness with this one.
Right. You drove a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Now you're driving an SXT. So hey, Jean.
You're talking the right company. I actually work for Chrysler.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We'll have to talk later. Hey, Jean and William, what do y'all think about it?
go ahead, William.
Okay. To me, this is like a Budweiser that sort of worked out the gym and developed a nice set of guns on it. It's more of that style. The AALs are in my wheelhouse, and I really enjoy this beer. I do pick up on an initial sweetness, and I would call it a medium carbonation, but it's not prickly, and it finishes very clean with for 6%, there's no off-putting aftertaste. There's no off-putting taste at all. I really like this beer, and I definitely would buy it again. I have no trouble finishing off this 6-pack. I mean, to me, it'll be a pleasure, not an assignment of drudgery. But I enjoy it.
Okay, what do you think, Jean?
Well, kind of everything what William and the brew dude just said. I think this is, again, a little hint of honey when I taste it. Not overly much, but just maybe a bit drop of it. It goes down very smooth. When I reviewed it a year ago, around this time, I believe, or it might have been earlier this year, I gave it a really good score. It's just a perfect lager, and it's a shame, when I did the review that it's not being promoted well by them, and it had that big rollout during 4 years ago. But it is what it is, and it's sad to say, but it's a very good, decent beer for a 6-pack and for the price, folks. I mean, you can't go wrong with this at all.
No. And I'll say real fast, I would definitely buy it again. And I want to correct myself. I said $6.79. It was actually $7.69 plus tax. It was 8 something after tax. But you know what? To me, that's a really good deal for a fantastic beer. Okay, yeah, he works for the Empire. He's helping the Sith Lords. He's helping Emperor Palpatine. Whatever. Okay, you know what? I don't care about all this social struggle, this political. What do you call it? Like this. Oh, you're not reaching for the greater good. Look, I'm a consumer. I reach for what I want to drink, okay? And no, this is not a rant and rave with Jay. I'm just saying, I'm saying to you, when this beer came out as the Project 12, I liked it. Me and my daughter liked it. Then it came out as Black Crown. I said, they hit the ball out the ballpark. It is smooth. I'm telling you, this beer is so smooth and it is so dangerous at 6% alcohol. You could just down one after the other. This beer has flaws. Honestly, I really want to know what they are. So yes, I would buy it again without any sort of hesitation. And one more thing, and then I'm going to shut up. The even greater tragedy is the Busch Signature Copper Lager, which got no promotion.
You're here.
It got no rollout. It got nothing.
And that's a good beer, and I'm disappointed they did not push that.
And that's the best beer Anheuser-Busch probably has made in 20 years. And I can still get it. I can get a 12-pack for $9.99 at Racetrack. And I think we ought to get together and do a re-examine. I don't even know if we ever did an examination because the last time nobody could get the dang thing.
I cannot get it here in Alabama anymore. That beer has poof, gone.
That is sickening. That thing is a Vienna lager, and it is like a strong 5.7% Vienna lager. That thing is dynamite. But it's like, wow, all the best beers they make, they don't promote them. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It's just irritating. But anyway, Reviewing Under Influence has joined from Canada. Uh-oh. Hey.
But they prefer, everyone prefers, hey, what's wrong with Budweiser? What's wrong with Miller Lite? What's wrong with Milwaukee's Best or Keystone? They're good. Yeah, they're okay. But I like to try Busch Signature Copper. I like to try Black Crown. Is that all right with you, sir?
It's got too much flavor, Jean.
Too much flavor. We need to cut it.
We cannot be drinking all these flavorful beers. Hey, so I'm going to say, yes, I would buy it again. Anybody else want to finish up? Go ahead and talk.
I would definitely buy this again. I got my my 6-pack runs over here for $5.99. I buy the bottle for $1.09, okay, a bottle, or $5.99 a 6-pack.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I would buy more.
What a deal. What a deal.
I'm talking I would fill my refrigerator with this right now. I'm probably going to after this call as well.
Yeah, since it's only 5:01 in the evening over there. Anybody else got anything else? Anybody else got anything to say?
One thing about this is, like marketing 101 is there has to be a compelling reason for someone to purchase a beer. What is the compelling reason to buy this? And how has it been marketed? Is that the issue with the beer? A good beer that isn't reaching a mass market?
Yes. I
looked at their website for this, and it showed a bunch of cool people, the nightlife, the cool, like the party goers. And I said, I can't visualize those people drinking this beer.
There you go, William. You got it.
To me, this is the step up from the guy that drinks the normal Budweiser. I mean, to them, this would be a treat. I think it has been mismarketed.
They can't get it. It's not sold in clubs.
Seriously.
It was for a week. They thought,
for a week. Save another fortune.
They thought all the good-looking nightclub,
the smoking jacket.
Yeah,
exactly.
The crown. The
leather jacket.
The hard liquor people were going to drink Budweiser Black Crown. I was thinking they are living in a dream world if they believe that's going to happen. William, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm right on your railroad right now.
Yeah. And there's a picture. One of the video links are not even active anymore on there. I put my cursor over it. They're dead. It shows one guy playing the guitar, and I think he's using the Bud bottle as a slide. Yep. There's a guitar technique where you slide over the frets rather than playing the instrument individual notes. And this guy is using the bottle as a slide.
And he's using it. Has black nail polish.
He does. He has
and wearing a Gibson. Yep.
And so he's playing slide guitar with a Bud Black Crown.
Yep, that is true.
Crazy.
And there's another just to add to yours, William. And then there's another clip where somebody's like they're playing poker. Everybody's wearing black, and they're drinking this beer at a casino. And
the female, she's fanning herself.
And
Exactly.
the lighting, and of course the lighting is all dim, and it's kind of very, sort of like, somewhat intimate, but it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a
we
nice
get
pair
what they're
of
saying.
legs. There's a nice pair of legs on there carrying a couple of beers.
Of course.
What's the emphasis there?
I like legs.
A lot
Hey.
of people should have
And I
been
know how
fired.
to use them.
A lot of people should have been fired behind that.
Immediately.
So it's basically an operation that could have been successful, but it was completely botched. Sort of like something I watched yesterday. But anyway,
What might that be, Jay?
Wait, something happened yesterday?
nothing in particular. I'm just talking about things that are dreadfully botched. Oh, man.
I have no idea what happened yesterday. But that's none of my business.
Hey, hey, Jordan. You don't get Crown, but I know it was sold in Canada as Budweiser Crown.
We used to get it, yeah, that version, but I remembering liking it pretty decent, yeah. I can't go into specifics at all, but I remember it being a fairly flavorful beer for what it's supposed to be, slightly fruity, stuff like that going on.
Right.
Grainy, of course. But yeah, really nice.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think that we're up here talking about how world class it is, okay? We're not saying it's the Struce Black Albert.
Yeah. Well, for the style, yeah, it's a nice beer. Yeah.
And for the price. And for the price.
As a
Well,
relatively low priced.
Up here, macro costs almost as much as craft, so.
Right, but over here in America,
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
in the United States of America, it's sometimes 70% cheaper.
Yeah, I've seen in California like $8 for something like a 24-pack or something around there, and I'm like, how the hell does that happen? That's
Happens every
insane.
day. Happens every day. Hey,
All day.
well, Nate K, you got anything to say about this? Nate K is left.
About the beer I don't have.
Yeah.
I wish I had it. I guess that's like the biggest thing here. You guys say it's on its way out, so it's not surprising that I can't really find it here, and I'm definitely not as good as Eric is at finding beers, although he does have that massive liquor store near him.
Hey, we're not saying we know it's on its way out. We just assume that it is.
Yeah.
It's like when I would research Oldsmobile and they had like 3 different offerings. You could buy 3 different Oldsmobile cars. That was their lineup. I was thinking, I don't think Oldsmobile is going to be around much longer. And then it was poof, gone in 2004. Hey, Chris, you got any final comments about it, buddy?
I was just thinking about the after the sip. There's some toasted candy. Maybe caramel, maybe toffee. There's some of that going on after the sip. But overall, clean, dry finish. I enjoy it. I like it. Good stuff.
So their brewing execution was superb, and their marketing execution was a train wreck. Am I right about that?
I think you are. Despite the May born on date of the stuff that I bought.
The May.
May.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I picked up some old stuff apparently.
They'll send you a refund.
Yeah.
But somebody will get fired tomorrow.
They need to get at those marketing gurus.
If you bought that beer today and it has a May born on date,
I bought it yesterday.
And you make a phone call, I guarantee you somebody is going to have some major problems in your area of North Carolina. I mean, in Virginia. I promise you that. Not Virginia, Michigan. Look, I'm telling you, I talked to these Anheuser-Busch people. I was talking to him today, and I said, Chris, he's the bulk merchandiser. I said, Chris, I appreciate you getting on the phone and calling the sales rep yesterday to find out if this beer was within the date range. He said, yeah, that was no problem. He said, that guy's really good with that. I said, how come well, I don't want to name another big company, but I always see their stuff out of date on the shelves. Another major company who just got bought out. But he said in his world, the Anheuser-Busch world, that cannot happen, okay? He said they got a guy that comes in unannounced, and he goes through and he starts checking codes. He said, and if stuff starts showing up out of date, people lose their job. So you may want to make that call tomorrow, but if you make that phone call, some people are going to really suffer. No, they don't play games. I'm telling you. You can say what you want about the company, it's the evil empire or whatever, but I swear to you, if they go in a store and stuff's out of date, people are going to get clipped.
Quality control has probably, as much people dislike it, but that's probably one of been their best things about Anheuser-Busch InBev.
It's a consumer-based business, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to be able to provide, or not we, but, you know, the company wants to provide the best quality for their product. And out-of-date stuff, expired stuff, that's not happening. People will lose their job immediately.
If I might interject, when I went to the Total Wine store this afternoon to get mine, the first 6-pack I picked up had a born on date in March. And but I reached behind with my 35-inch arms, my lanky arms, and grabbed one behind it, and I got a September the 21st. So sometimes you have to be activist as a consumer.
Right.
You know? And so, you know, but just doing that, I got a 6-month fresher beer.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to do that. But like I say, you have to take it upon yourself to be active. I mean, everybody here enjoys beer. It's a, you know, and so you have to put some effort into it sometimes.
Right.
That's right.
And to be fair to these guys, I talk to these guys constantly, right? So, and I'm probably going to see one of them tomorrow, but they tell me that it's bad because, first of all, if the stuff's out of date, they get in big trouble. But then if they have to make returns, like send stuff back to the warehouse, all hell breaks loose. So it's like they're caught in the middle. It's like they can't make consumers buy the stuff. So then what they do, he was telling me this story, what they do, they'll, if the guy is out on the prowl, like they know if the guy's out there checking codes, they'll call everybody, alert, he's out there. Well, they'll go into the store and take it all out the cooler and they'll hide it in the warehouse until the guy's gone, and they'll put it back on the shelf out of date just so it'll sell, because they don't want to catch the heat. Because, you know, 99% of the consumers, they're not going to look at the date and they're not going to care.
Yeah.
But so it's like, wow, I'm glad I don't work in that industry. But it's a risky thing, because if you want to play cat and mouse with the quality, what they call it, the QC people, if you want to play cat and mouse with them, go ahead. But if they find out, that's it. Anyway, enough rant and raving. So we go ahead.
That's why I like one brewery, I think it might be Stone Brewery, has a policy. If you find expired beer on the shelves, you can go to their website, file a complaint, and each store, if they get 3 strikes, they're out. They don't get Stone beers anymore. Pretty sure it's Stone. But I think that's a great system. It makes people like advertise the product more, like buy this up, you know, so we can still keep it, you know.
That's a great policy, because fresh is important.
It is for certain beers. Yeah, you don't want a 2-3-year-old Budweiser sitting on the shelf.
Oh, you don't want it one day out of date. I want to ask Tanya something. Tanya, you went on a brewery tour, and I know you're not a fan of Anheuser-Busch, and I'm not like necessarily repping their scene, but what were your impressions of that brewery tour, just, you know, as a tour?
I've been to a lot of smaller craft breweries, and I was impressed by the scale of that production. And somebody had mentioned their bottle saying that it has beechwood added or something like that. And I thought that was interesting that they had said that, because the beechwood is bleached out. It actually adds no flavor, and it's just put in the bottom of these huge fermentation tanks. I mean, like, I don't remember how many barrels of beer come out of these tanks, 500,000 or something like that. Huge fermentation tanks. And the idea of the beechwood is it's these really thin ribbons of wood in the bottom of the tank, because otherwise all the yeast would fall out and it would just be this huge, like, yeast cake. And so they add dimension by having these beechwood strips. So I'm not entirely certain that the beechwood strips actually add flavor to this particular beer. You know, but I somewhat digress from the question, but I tasted this beer, and I'm actually uploading my video because I realized it never went to my YouTube channel. I tasted this beer when I the brewery, and I remember, I think I had it before, you know, and I had an opinion about based on the brewery. But when I had tasted, I remember thinking, like, oh, wow, this isn't like a standard lager. Beer for lagers. And so I appreciated the fact that it had more flavor to it, more of a malt profile, more specifically. Because I feel like a lot of lagers are very, I don't want to say watery, but very, very mild. I mean, very low body, very low aroma. And I find them just terribly boring. And so this was at least a variation on that. And so that I appreciated, but not a beer that I would buy on a regular basis.
Well, that's fair. But my question about the brews, what was your general impression of the brewery tour?
It was really cool. I enjoyed seeing a large scale production like that. I mean, I think the one I went to in Fairfield is might have been 4 floors. And they have a lot of computer assisted things that are watching their boil times, you know, notifying them exactly when the boil time is over, because they have it dialed in that everything can be automated in that way. And it's much more of a precise science than it is an art of beer making, I think, at that scale. And hospitable, very nice people. They treated you very nicely on the tour, had a cool tap room in the front. Of course, it was all Budweiser beers, and I found a couple that I hadn't been familiar with, like Elysian or something like that. You know, experience for people who like beer and like to see how it's made to go on the tour. I enjoyed it a lot. And we got to ask questions.
Okay.
We got to ask a lot of questions.
Was that the Trump train?
Choo choo!
Yeah, and they got so many people riding on it. But anyway, add all the people. Hey, but Tanya, that was my general impression of it too. That it was like really interesting, like just for a beer fan, whether you like their products or not. It's just it's amazing.
If I can step in, I don't tend to like Anheuser-Busch's main products, stuff like that. But that being said, it's absolutely incredible the consistency they have. It is a perfect craft that they do. Whatever.
Yeah,
but,
they have it dialed in. I mean, it's incredibly precise.
Yeah, with craft beer, people always say, "Oh, last year's was better. This year's wasn't as good," or whatever. You know, like, "Oh, I remember 8 years ago this beer was awesome," stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? Budweiser has been the same for like decades. It hardly changes, and that is really, really good. I mean,
right. I think As far as the market that's looking for that beer, I'm sorry to talk over you. I think as far as the market that's looking for that beer, that's exactly what they want, you know. And I like to taste different things. I pretty much stand in the beer section of any place I'm in, and I'm like, I've had that. Ooh, this is interesting. And I don't even know what it is, but I'll probably drink it at least once. But that's not the whole beer market. And some people just want to always have the same thing and it be a reliable flavor. And I absolutely agree that that's something that Budweiser has nailed, or Budweiser in Vancouver there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Budweiser, Duvel Mercat, Heineken, Sapporo, all of those guys, you know, like very consistent. Some are better than others, but really good beers.
Yeah.
For what they are.
Yeah, for what they are. Hey, well, this was really interesting and fun. And I'm sorry that David had his little technical problems, but that does happen. I'm glad my internet didn't crash because of this major update. I've been getting all these major updates ever since the Yahoo hack because they know something's wrong. Hey, but
you still got that e-machine, Jay?
No.
Okay.
The lightning strike. Remember the lightning strike last year?
You told me about that. Yes, right.
But that was a good computer, man, until that lightning. Hey, but
gotta have a battery backup.
I'd like to comment about
destroyed my television also. What now?
I'd like to comment about what was said about Budweiser being the same for decades, and the brewmasters at Anheuser-Busch have said themselves that Budweiser has changed. It's gotten lighter in flavor over the years.
Oh.
And whether that is intentional or not, we don't know, and I'm not sure that they know. But their records indicate that the flavor has gotten lighter over the years.
I read some articles about that. I would say that it may have changed slightly, but I would say that if you go back and read the Budweiser advertisements from the late 1800s or the early 1900s, and you read their descriptions of the flavor and the aroma, you'll notice that it has not changed appreciably. Because those advertisements are available on Google and Yahoo and Bing and all of that. And they're very detailed in how the beer tastes. And when I read those advertisements, I say, that's the same thing I'm drinking now, more or less, you know.
Yeah, sure, more or less. It's the same flavor, and I'll agree with that. But when the brewmasters themselves say that we notice a difference, those people are the authority.
Right.
And I'll defer to their opinion. And
remember now, every day, and then we're going to shut this down. Every day at 3 o'clock Central Time, the Budweiser beer is flown in from all 12 breweries, flown in on a plane from each of the 12 breweries, and they have a tasting in the brewery every day of the year with these guys. I mean, this is amazing. They sit there and they taste it, and they write all these notes down, and it better match. And if it doesn't match, all kind of careers are ruined. I mean, it's like, can't believe it that it's at that scale. You know, that's and I never drink Budweiser. I was like, I never drink it because I always find stuff that's like I want to try something new, like Tanya said, or I find something that's a good substitute because it's $3 cheaper, or whatever, you know. But it is incredible that they would have a consumer product that every day at 3 o'clock they fly it in on an airplane, samples from around the United States, and they taste it. I mean, I can't get over that.
That is amazing. I can tell you that we don't do that at Chrysler.
I wonder if the gradual change in taste has a lot to do specifically with the agricultural change. You know, where they get their product, where they get their rice, where they get the grain. You know, throughout obviously, you know, hundreds of years, changing gradually, that is impacting. Whether it's small gradual changes in flavor, that it's adaptable as the consumer is consuming throughout the year, that it's not a drastic change as in some craft breweries where, I mean, just the temperature inside the brewery is going to make a big difference.
I'm sure
They
that all that
actually
has to be
have the
accounted for.
inside of that brewery super regulated.
Yep.
You know, like in the cook room where they have all the kettles going, it's very hot. You know, and it's temperature regulated where they have it fermenting. It's temperature regulated where they have it carbonating and finishing, which is, by the way, super cold. Wear a jacket. You know, but every part of that is so precisely dialed in. It's amazing.
Which is my point, you know, where they're so dialed in things that they can control, like temperature and room control, room temperature control, where they might not specifically be able to control weather temperature outside, where their product is coming from, to be able to, you know, make the beer. Where in a smaller brewery, I mean, in some cases, these factories can't even be temperature controlled, you know. So, but I mean, just you know,
thumbs up to them to be able to, like
this beer consistent.
Like the farmhouse breweries out there. There's not a whole lot of control, you know.
Yeah.
Like there is a certain amount, but can change a lot.
Let's not forget the effect of the water either.
True, that is
All
true.
these breweries, they have different water sources, and water around the globe is all different. So
Nope.
there's a whole lot of discussion on things like pizza dough, where someone says, well, why can't you make a New York style pizza in California? And people say, well, it's because
I don't have the water. Right.
I believe that. So what Anheuser-Busch must be doing, I haven't asked anybody this, but what they must be doing is reverse osmosising the water and recreating the water so that it's the same as what they would get from the Mississippi.
That's right. That's right.
They probably add and subtract like different chemicals that are in the water. You've had beer from way over the world, you know, you can just taste the difference in some of them. Like a German Pilsner is very different from a Czech Pilsner just because of the water, I find. If, like, recently I brewed an IPA with tap water, big mistake, and one with filtered reverse osmosis water, huge difference. You know, it's awesome.
If there was a BMW of the beer world, it would definitely be Anheuser-Busch. They approach their products with a clinical Germanic precision that you just don't see anywhere else. There's nothing left to chance at Anheuser-Busch. Everything is thought out meticulously. You know, their beers are like the M series BMW cars. I mean, and I see a lot of parallels between those companies in the way they approach their products and everything like that.
I'll reserve my opinion.
I'm glad you said that. Hey, well, you know, now next week it's going to be a little off track because I have something to do that Wednesday night, which is sports related, but because that's another little, I don't want to call it an addiction. I want to call it a hobby, but because that's what it is. But Sunday night, I'm proposing this Sunday night. And then 2 weeks from now, exactly 2 weeks from now, we're going to look at another brand that I don't have so much regard for, honestly. And I don't have as much regard for that company, honestly. But it's called Miller Fortune. And if there was ever a beer that's on the deathbed, it's Miller Fortune.
That beer is dead in my city, Jay, unfortunately. Nowhere.
By golly. So
I've never seen it.
Look, I'm going to put it out there. And it could be a situation where I'm up here on alone by myself doing this. Well, that's redundant, right? Alone doing it because everybody else said they couldn't find it. So, but that'll be the final examination of the Fortune. What's up, Gary?
I can find it at one place. Food City in Pulaski sells 6-packs.
Well, it might just be you and myself. Hey, secondly, Sunday night, I'm looking at my calendar. November 13th. I'm gonna get on the internet and look at a product called Seagram's Distillers Reserve Gin. Now Tanya's saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't stand gin. It makes me gag." I understand that idea.
No spirits.
John doesn't. John does not fool around with spirits due to certain
circumstances.
Brandy.
Yeah. We don't.
Let's go brandy instead.
Well, wait a minute now. I have two different brandies in my cabinet that I have to look at, the Hennessy Black and the Hennessy Privilege. But my daughter wants to try them, so I got to wait for her. Otherwise, I'd be on that like white on rice. But if anybody wants to tackle Seagram's Distillers Reserve, not your regular Seagram's, your extra dry from 1939, but Seagram's Distillers Reserve Gin from 2006. It's been on the market 10 years. A gin that is not available in Louisiana yet. I bought it yesterday in Louisiana, so that's another story. Hit me up because that could be an interesting little exploration of, you know what somebody told me today? Gin, are you crazy? Gin, look, this is what he said. I didn't say it. And I told him he was out of his mind. He said, gin is a women's drink. He said, only women drink gin. I said, are you serious? What you're saying? That's coming out of your mouth?
He's probably tying it to like martinis, you know what I'm saying? The traditional martini. He's probably tying the martini to that. But gin, I mean, that stuff is
so it's
I don't mind it.
Do only women drink gin? I mean, what does he?
No.
Can I just
actually,
Go ahead.
I hate it. I order a Long Island iced tea and I'm like, cut the gin, add extra anything but. Hate.
I once in a while get a nice gin and I like it, but if you're getting like the bottom shelf, like main brands, like London Dry or whatever it's called, I'm not a big fan, but there's some nice gins there.
I enjoy myself a nice dirty gin martini every once in a while.
Yeah, my experience.
Yeah, like, if you're insulting gin, you're insulting James Bond. Come on.
Shaken, not stirred.
Here's what I've got. You see this smoky glass. So anyway, that's for better or worse. That's what I'm looking at Sunday night. So
nice.
If nobody wants to join, I'll just cancel it. You know what I mean? But
did you say Miller Fortune was? I know you said something about Wednesday. Did you change the date, or is it still going to be Wednesday?
No, Wednesday the 23rd.
Okay.
So why wouldn't you just examine gin in general?
Well, wait a minute.
Any sort of gin.
I'm not opposed to that, but I wanted. Listen, review under influence. I wanted to look at this particular brand in particular, since I've never had it, and I bought it in a store that is not even supposed to be selling it, apparently. But they're selling it, and I know how they got it, and they would be so upset if they saw that video. But I caught you. All right.
I can get the Miller Fortune.
Yeah.
A 24-ounce can at Sheets. I saw it, unless they discontinue it in the next few days. So I'm all in for the Miller
They
Fortune.
sell 24-ounce cans in Virginia and Carolina for that.
They do. I've seen it in Sheets.
Wow.
Good grief.
Which
Well,
is
go buy it now because you might wake up and it'll be gone. 2 weeks. Listen to this. It sounds like a big wreck. Okay, 2 weeks. 2 weeks Miller Fortune, and then I have another sports-related issue. The weekend after that, and then and this is going to really make some enemies and gain few friends, if any. In December, hey, look, if you want to unfriend me, I'll go along with that. We got Budweiser. I'm almost scared to say it. Budweiser Clamato.
Nothing's wrong with that. Come on, nothing's wrong.
Come on.
Bud Light Clamato, Budweiser Clamato Picante. It is what it is. I like them, but I might be very pedestrian or droll, you know. But Jose, I bet you'll join us.
Oh yeah. I have them in my fridge right now.
I can't find any of them nowhere, but I'll do my
I'll
best
make
to
one
see
on
if
the
I'll
spot.
make it.
I'll get a Budweiser and I'll get Clamato and I'll mix it.
Jean, I'm gonna work with you on that. I think I can help you track those down. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
So
They're in Detroit. That won't be hard.
okay. Those clamatos are almost like a what do you call that cold soup that people eat?
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho, vichyssoise, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a cold soup. When you
Bisque.
Gazpacho.
not bisque. All right. So William, I don't know how you'll feel about that, but
That's a little out of my wheelhouse, but you know, heck, I might try it.
I mean,
I might try it.
you know, who in
Have
the
your,
world,
have your EpiPens ready just in case.
right? Who doesn't want to drink? Who doesn't want to drink beer mixed with clam broth and tomato juice and salt?
I
Oh, no.
absolutely
Don't bust
but
don't bust it until you try it. All right.
It's a cheap. I guess would that be considered a poor man's version of a Bloody Mary?
It's a beer
a
Bloody Mary.
very
Yeah.
poor man's version.
Yeah.
Like, but I
don't
didn't like the
know.
beer,
I'll
but
try
it is a fun beer to try.
It
is
is
a fun.
And after I watched Chad's beer reviews, he almost threw up. I thought, oh, I'm so scared.
I'm gonna review them.
I said to myself, I'm so scared to try this. I'm so scared to try it. So I poured it and I started drinking it. I was like, well, hell, I've had tomato soup. I know what salt tastes like. I eat clam chowder and I drink Budweiser sometimes. This is working for me. But oh, was it heavy in my stomach? It was like eating
It's
a
a
beer.
meal. It's a meal.
It's a meal.
It'd be
what
a
it is.
great beer to make a marinara out of, like a beer marinara. You know?
You know what's funny? I actually added some of that beer into some hot wings, and I tossed it,
fuck.
and it fit perfect. It was just perfect.
Now the
That
brew,
was
the brew.
in
You said that the micheladas and the chiladas are kind of
Yeah.
big in the Hispanic community.
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up obviously when I was at the age to be able to drink, mixing it up by ourselves. So we would get your lager, your light lager, and get your clamato. You add a couple limes to the glass and some ice, a little bit of salt, a little bit of hot sauce if you want, and just mix it together. But now they started just making it to buy, and they're great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I grew up eating that, drinking that every Sunday.
That's exactly what my buddies used to do. Me and my buddies, we didn't want to get tanked, but we still wanted to drink 12 beers over the course of like 2 days, you know, and just binge drink. So yeah, hot sauce, Clamato, Budweiser, Lucky, Lager, whatever you wanted. It was a good time, you know.
And we actually use it. It was actually used specifically kind of like the hair of the dog. Like you had a rough night drinking, and the next morning you mixed a little bit of the clamato, the beer, a little lime. You know, it's supposed to help you get through the next day. But I mean, it's a tasty mashup. Period. It's just, at least for me, I enjoy it.
So, okay, so that's what's coming in December. That'll be a bizarre but yet fun and interesting experience, I think. All right. Well, I really do appreciate everybody joining us. And once again, I want to say to David, who had to drop off, I'm sorry about your audio issues, but I can't, you know, it happens, but it won't work if it's a major echo problem. Hey, but we appreciate our Canadian contributions. We appreciate our California contributions.
Yep.
Los Angeles.
Oh, I've been to LA County. Whoop, whoop.
No way. Nice.
We're connected, Jay.
Oh, dude.
We got that I-10 connection, Holmes.
Brewed, you gotta check out Monkish if you haven't yet.
I will.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
Y'all gonna have to network. I appreciate our Michigan connection. I appreciate our Virginia connection. I appreciate our Alabama connection.
Alabama.
Our Massachusetts connection. I appreciate our North Carolina connection.
Tar Heels.
Tar Heels, yeah. Hey, well, thanks everybody. Y'all have a good, safe weekend, and drink beer if you'd like to, and drink it responsibly. And you don't need me preaching to you. You know how to handle your life correctly if you have any kind of intelligence.
No spirits.
That's your issue. That is not my issue. All right. That is not my issue. Okay. Y'all have a good night.
Good evening, world.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
You all.
Cheers.